Hey, my name is Kerry Bond. I'm here in Wailua, the Go Farm North Shore site. I am incubating with Go Farm. I have a plot here. It's a 5/8 of an acre. My farm name is Diamond Island Farm. You can find my produce in Celestial Natural Foods up on the North Shore, as well as a few restaurants like Farm to Barn, Banyan's Island Grill, Wicked High Cafe. I primarily focus on growing leafy greens. So today I'm going to take you through the process of growing lettuce. All right, so first step in growing lettuce at home in your backyard garden, you got to find some seed. So I go online, buy most of my seed from Johnny's Seed. That's where I get 90% of my seed supply. But you can also go to your local hardware store, Home Depot, Ace, whatever's close to you. Even some grocery stores have seed available. And if you want to get a local variety going, like the Manoa lettuce, you can go to the UH Seed Lab and you can order seed from them online. So behind me, I've got two types of greens that I'm growing. I have it's a Salanova lettuce mix that I get from Johnny's. You grow it as a lettuce head, but you can also break it down into a lettuce mix if you like. And these get started in the nursery in trays. And then over here I have arugula that is direct seeded in the field, and it's raked in lightly. And then it's harvested as a baby arugula. And so that's two different approaches to growing lettuce or baby greens. In episode 2, we walked you through the step-by-step of how to start seeds in the nursery on the trays. So today I'll just show you how we direct seed the baby greens. Right here in the field I've got 2 successions of baby arugula. So they're planted side by side, 1 week apart. So you can see the difference in growth, the staggered growth. And the purpose of that is so that I can continuously harvest arugula every week. So I plant every 2 weeks, and that's assuming that I can get 2 weeks of harvest from one planting. So we plant every 2 weeks, so there's continuous arugula growth. And I broadcast arugula. And so when you have a packet of arugula seed or any lettuce seed, they usually give you planting instructions. And so it's a good starting point. I think, arugula seed, they'll probably say something like 60 seeds per foot or something like that. But for our purposes, we really just eyeball it and go by feel. And before you plant, you want to make sure you have a nice smooth bed to plant into. So just rake out the soil so it's nice and level and smooth. Try and rake out any high points and low points. And the less clumpy the soil, the better for germination, just so that you get good contact with water for the seeds. And so this bed looks pretty good here for planting. And so what I would do is, with my arugula seed, I would just sprinkle it in lightly and get an even cover, and kind of follow that rule of thumb of 60 seeds per foot. But really you just got to do it a few times till you get the right density of planting that you like. And then once the seed is laid in, you just do a really light rake over the top just to get the seeds to sort of settle in underneath the surface like that. And it's really that simple. And then you just water it in after you plant, just a light watering to get the seed set. All right, so here I have a lettuce head that was started in the nursery, and I'm just going to give you a quick demo on how I plant them. So spacing is pretty important. You want to give the lettuce heads some room to grow and not compete with each other. So my method, real straightforward, anybody can use, is you just use your shaka as your measuring tape, and you just shaka off the other lettuce, pick your spot here, and then 2 fingers to make a hole, and then you just drop your lettuce in there in the hole and pack it down. I think the key is just you don't want to bury the new growth at the center of the lettuce. But other than that, they transplant pretty easily. So, and always water in after you transplant anything to set the roots and get them growing, and then you're good. So when it comes time to harvest, typically the lettuce is ready to harvest within 4 weeks of transplanting. That's the rule of thumb, but you can also, just to get it really dialed in, I mean, it's an observation. So when you have a head formed in your lettuce, that's the time to harvest it, like a nice dense head. And you typically have a week, and maybe I sometimes stretch it to 2 weeks for my harvest window for this. This lettuce is pretty resilient, so I can let it sit in the ground for a little bit longer, but I'd say you typically have maybe a week before the lettuce will start to go to flower. So when it comes time to harvest, these guys aren't quite ready yet, so I'm not actually going to take it out of the ground. You have a sickle knife or some kind of lettuce knife, and you just want to reach under and find the base, and you're just going to hit it right at the stem and cut the stem and just pull the head off. And then you can peel off. There's old leaves, dead leaves at the bottom that you can peel off. So you just get the good parts. And then you take it to your kitchen to wash it up. Alrighty, so it's been 3 weeks since you planted the arugula. It's ready for its first cut. Hopefully you've managed the weeds well, so it's not a weedy bed. So it's just a bed of arugula, and you got to have a sickle knife or scissors or something to cut them with, and you basically trying to get them at the stem. You don't want to go too low, or else you'll permanently damage the arugula. So you want to find a height. You don't want to cut basically the center new growth of the arugula. And you just go through and grab handfuls. Just be careful not to cut yourself. And so you're finding that the height is right at the base of the leaf, high enough so that there's new growth that'll, there's a good example. So here's new growth you want to leave behind. So you're cutting right above that as best as you can. Before every harvest, we wash and sanitize all of our harvest bins and our knives. It's an important step in preventing the spread of pathogens from the field into your food, into your home. The big one that we're all kind of concerned about in Hawaii is rat lungworm, and I believe that it's the #1 way to prevent the spread of this disease is washing before you eat the food. So we wash. We do a triple rinse, but even when if you buy produce from us, it's still highly recommended that you wash your vegetables before you eat them. All right, thanks for joining us today, and good luck with your garden. See you next time. Take 7.